We tracking, we moving?
We're moving. All right, back in the saddle. It's been forever since I used a Bornak. This is a trip, dude.
How are the clickets doing on course? Just haven't running into any unexpected issues or anything?
The toggles tend to be something you have to replace quite a bit. The magnetic toggles.
Are they breaking or falling off or what?
Yeah, they're breaking. They're not falling off. They'll just like jam or just totally get beat to hell, and then you got to get a new one.
Yeah, it doesn't even feel like I've left.
All right, so a little tree etiquette class. Don't be a douche. Okay.
Yeah. So you guys don't pull on your Bornax with the cables.
This is on the list is doing those beams up top.
Oh yeah.
But then COVID hit.
Almost. You guys have to make a bunch of adjustments for COVID?
Yeah, like the number of people for the day. I think you can't have more than, I don't know what it is, like 60 people at a time.
On the course or?
In an area, something like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then you can't use the same harness twice for different people without it getting sanitized. So if we have a big day, like 130 people, then like around 12 or 1, we run the ozone with the harnesses that got returned, and then they're open for the 2 o'clock. So you can run it for 30 minutes and let it set for 30. So you got that hour window.
Gotcha.
And then every night we run it for 3 hours, the whole shed. And then we set up the harnesses in the pods. So when they put in their harness on, we're the only ones who've touched it. They haven't come into the shed, so they don't go in the shed at all. So just like maintaining who's touching what.
Right.
And then so like if you're in a different group with like 2 other people, like we set up your harnesses over there, we set up the other group's harnesses over here. And then obviously masks are on the ground the whole time. But then when they go in the trees, they can take their mask off as long as they have it with them. And then we keep one empty platform between you and another group. But other than that, you can have 2 on a platform, 1 on an element if it's in the same group, like right there with you. That's really the only big difference. And then everyone has to fill out a COVID form.
What's the COVID form?
All the staff, there's a staff one and then there's a participant one. So it's just a series of questions like, have you been exposed?
Oh.
Blah, blah, blah.
You mean everything that I feel on a daily basis?
Yeah, I'm sure that's totally, totally what you guys rock. And for those of you who don't know, Mike is in the Air Force, and what specifically? It's the missile.
So I'm security forces, but I'm a missile cop at FE1.
Security for nukes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, which is BA.
We make sure nobody touches our nation's #1 asset. So.
Yeah. How many countries actually have nukes?
A lot.
Yeah.
Nowadays, just about everyone has them. I know there are a couple that don't. I think a couple don't have them because their allies do. But really, I think our 2 biggest competitors are Russia and China. And I guess maybe North Korea if you want to consider them a threat. But Russia's really number one. And the United States has an agreement with them with our nuke stuff. And I won't go too much into detail on that.
You probably can't. Yeah, obviously. So, Mike, we watched that podcast.
I doubt anyone over there is even going to care.
Yeah.
But no, it's fun. It's cool. It's a cool mission, cool job, cool base, cool area. I mean, it's pretty flat. It's nothing like Oregon, but
Oh man, that would be rough for me.
it's a lot colder in the winter. Oregon just gets rain. Wyoming gets snow for like 80% of the year.
You guys have tornado concerns?
I don't think so. I don't know, to be honest with you.
What if there was an earthquake? What happens with the nukes then?
They
sure-
shake.
I'm sure it's all like
Um,
earthquake proof.
there are a lot of security measures that go into housing
Yeah.
a nuclear weapon. So it's nothing really to be worried about. Like even the fire that I was talking to you about,
Mm.
not really an issue.
Yeah.
But we still had to be out there, just in case, just to kind of monitor the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll just say there's a lot of concrete in between the outside world and a nuclear weapon. So
All right. First zip.
sounds good.
There we go. Check this out, dude.
Wow, look at that.
That's a sign that nobody's been up here in a while. Yeah, dude. I wasn't anticipating the sap. Wouldn't have thought of that, like how every time we're up here.
Ooh, there's a big spider right there. It's blended in now.
Jeez, don't scare me, Mike.
The platform's falling apart.
If you can remember a zip tour that was your favorite.
Favorite or most memorable?
That's good. Let's start with favorite.
Favorite zip tour? I can't say that one on camera. Most memorable? Probably the one time that girl freaked out over at the bridge.
Oh yeah.
And just started screaming bloody murder for like no reason.
Wow.
But
Her fear took over.
yeah, it was pretty wild because we got up. We didn't notice any signs. It was me and Patty doing the tour. And we got up there, or we were getting harnessed up and everything. Didn't really notice any kind of crazy nervousness, out of the blue or
Mm-hmm.
a little extra or anything like that. But as soon as we got up onto the platform, instantly anxiety.
Yeah.
You could tell. And we're like, well, it's not too late. You can get down right here, right? And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. We're like, all right, cool. So Patty receiving, I was sending, got her all hooked up. She started going across the bridge, taking her time, and then she just paused in the middle.
Mm.
And we're like, okay, she's freaking out a little bit, no big deal. We're like giving her encouragement and everything, and then she just like loses it. Just starts screaming at the top of her lungs. And Patty looks at me. I remember Patty looking at me and being like, what do we do?
What do we do? Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. Maybe go bring her across? Or maybe I was receiving. I don't remember. But I just know it was me and Patty. But we looked at each other. We were like, what do we do? And we offered her. We're like, hey, you can turn around, or we can get you over here and then lower you down if we need to. Like whatever works easiest for you. And then so Patty went and brought her over to the end of the bridge, and we talked to her and calmed her down. All her family was there, and kind of helped calm her down. She's like white knuckling the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Right, she does not want to let go. She's just like looking down, like just in.
Yeah. How old do you think she was?
She was like 23 or 24.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes it a little more difficult. Well, I don't know. When people freak out, they freak out. Doesn't matter what age.
Yeah. But it was funny too, cause like we got her to the other side, and we're like, "Here are your options." She's like, "Oh, I'll just keep going," crying, of course. And then we got her on this zip line, and she was just screaming the whole way down. She was like, I don't like it, get me down, get me down, get me down. We got her over here, back to her family, and she was freaking out again. And I was receiving, now that I remember, because I remember going down and catching her. But I don't know what, between the time I left this platform and the time she got down, like 180 degrees. Like totally just flipped her mentality, and then she was just having a blast.
Wow, it's crazy.
It was so strange.
It's crazy how that can happen.
But I remember, because she came down, and I was like, are you good? Are you all right? And she was like kind of laughing and smiling about it. I was like, if you want, you can go down the hill and take your gear off. She's like, no, I want to keep going.
All right, zip 4, here we go.
Zip 4. And then she was fine the rest of the tour. She had no issues.
Wow, not a rappel or anything.
Nothing.
Just had to get over that first big bump.
Yeah, and then I remember when we got back down, being told like, hey, is everything all right? Because apparently the neighbors called.
Wow, it was that
asking.
loud, huh?
Yeah, they were like, is everything okay?
She just lost it.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
Wow.
But that was probably the most memorable.
Yeah.
Just because since then, never had anything that crazy.
Yeah. Mine was like, when we first opened 2012, we did, because it was a whole new thing, so we spent like 3 weeks in training. Because they had to work out all the details, the policy, the procedure, checking speeds. Things were constantly getting adjusted. But that, yeah, we bonded, the staff, because we were just up here all the time, just running through it. It wasn't just a 2-day training. It was like, yeah, it was 2 or 3 weeks, like every day.
Wow.
Yeah. And then probably doing zip tours with Colby, because we'd speak in a Russian accent.
Oh yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
I had a couple good ones with Michelle too.
Yeah.
And Cliff.
Yeah.
Cliff and I were the bearded banditos. We got $100 tip each one time.
Dang. Yeah. And then the last training was a lot of fun, because I was messing with Tristan.
Oh yeah. Is he 18 now?
Yeah. So he'd be in front, and you know how in training you ask a question, and Vanessa would always raise her hand, and she's always in the back, and I'd just wait for Tristan to start talking, and I'd be like, sorry Tristan, Vanessa's raised her hand. She gets to go first. And that happened 3 times.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Vanessa's hilarious, dude.
She is really funny.
Her and I got along really well. She's quiet and I'm quiet, and we're just like,
and one time,
sucks.
yeah, exactly. And one time I'd let him like go like halfway answering the question. Like, oh, I'm sorry, Tristan. Vanessa had her hand raised. We're gonna let her go first.
That's hilarious.
I love, messing with staff that are cool with it.
See, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
When I came up, but no, everything has to be on fire.
Yeah. Well, you get a zip tour.
Stupid nature.
That's good. Woo! Getting some footage. My first year, it was just, I was way more into like riffing with the participant and the guide. But when they're in that mode, it's like you can't, they'll interrupt your like conversation, or if you're like having a good connection with the participants, and they're like, well, this is where I say my thing, and they'll just like whoa man, you're throwing off the
totally
vibe.
Interrupt you.
Yeah. And then I can't like really joke with them because they're already in there. It's like, okay, well, I'll just be over here then. Yeah, that was kind of annoying.
How could you apply this to a team building exercise?
Yeah.
Gumby and Robotron.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. And it's interesting, like the whole team building stuff, like Gumby, Robotron, Red Pin Highlighter.
You know what's funny? I've actually brought that up a couple times
Oh, really?
in like trainings and stuff.
Nice.
People just look at me like, why do you know this?
Yeah, awesome. I love it. Makes me happy. Because all that stuff's come out of my pressure of work here. Like I didn't read any of that stuff in a book. It was like I just would notice things and be like, huh, how do I communicate this to people in a way that's transferable and understandable, just from working every day here and noticing different behavior patterns. It's like, okay. I mean, if you do, what's the average? Probably 100 team builds a year. You kind of figure some stuff out.
You get a feeling for
people and like how to explain things, and to the point where I can just put on autopilot. Like my spiels are like down to the word, which is kind of hypocritical with what I just said.
Right.
I find though too, it's good to have those.
But there's a balance. You also
Yeah.
know when to like open up for discussion.
Yep.
And stuff like that. So.
Exactly. And then if things are going south, it's like, oh, I got my next mark I can hit, and I know how to like bring the group back. But when you're just starting out, like as a facilitator, like if you don't have those checkpoints and it starts going bad, you start to flounder. I've seen it.
Flounder.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's just like, what do I do?
That'd be me. Or I'd just be very robot about it.
Yeah, all right, here's the obstacle. Cool. Next.
Here's your goal. Here are the guidelines. Figure it out.
Figure it out. 30 minutes go by. All right, we did them all, Jason. Okay.
What did you accomplish? The obstacle.
It's weird having a GoPro. It's like I keep hitting stuff. I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, now you know how participants feel.
Yeah, right? Empathy. Yeah, and then there's, you know, what, like, okay, I'm gonna be guiding with Mike. It's just like, this is gonna go really smooth and really quick. You know?
Really quick.
Yeah. It's like there's just some guys who are just like, okay, this is what's happening. Fine. It's gonna be a no-brainer.
One of the funnest parts about doing group tours was trying to optimize time and speed, while also making sure the participants had a good time.
Yeah, it's a fun challenge, yeah.
So we'd always race everybody. Like, hey, we got a full zip tour. Bet you we can get it done in an hour.
We forgot something.
What
Oh,
did we forget?
that could have been bad. We gotta go walk it.
Oh. YOLO?
That'd be fun to, no man, there's no way I'm gonna YOLO zip 4. Especially after a windstorm. This will be edited out.
It'll cut to us walking up the hill, and then it'll cut back down to us walking up the hill again.
Yeah. Be like, something happened. Something changed. And you've always been interested in getting into the military because your parents were in it, right?
Yeah, both my mom and my dad were Air Force. Dad retired, mom got out at like 13 years or something like that.
Oh, were they stoked when they were like, oh, you're gonna do Air Force?
Are you kidding me? When I left for the Army, they were like, oh, it's not too late to join the Air Force.
Yeah, they're stoked. You know, it's not too late. That's good.
But they're definitely happy now.
Why don't you just come back for a month and we can knock out Adventure Village real quick?
Maybe next year.
Yeah, I would like that because I'm learning about the brain. If you don't have things finished, it actually really bothers the brain. Your brain wants to finish. And if you have multiple things that aren't finished, it can like this undue stress. That whether you like it or not, it's like you just can't turn it off really. And it's true. I mean, you think about things in your life, man, I gotta finish that. Like, at least that's how I am. I don't know if other people
That makes sense.
are like, I don't care if it's done or not. And then some people don't start things because they don't think they can finish them, which at some point that can be valuable. It's the juice worth the squeeze for some things.
But how are you going to do anything if you never start anything, right?
Yeah. And that's what, for me, the benefit of COVID was I finally had time to start things like this podcast and stuff that I've always wanted to. But what really helped me is just telling myself that I have permission to fail at it. Like, instead of having it be at a certain point and then start doing it, then I'm like, well, I'm never gonna start that way. Like, so I just went for it.
Oh, poison oak.
Yeah.
Lots of poison oak.
I wonder if we'll clip these.
think so?
We might, or with our feet just.
Are you gonna walk all the way down?
Oh yeah, dude, it's
Damn it.
that windstorm, man. It was probably the biggest one we've ever had.
I'm gonna be late to my own party.
Oh, do we need to end early?
We'll have to end early.
Okay. Just kind of
But I told everybody 4:30.
put some pep in our step.
Remember Adidas?
Yeah, I do, Mike.
I would put that as another most memorable moment.
I was like, oh. I mean, we went through that together. Just every step of the way, nothing was going our way.
It was an uphill battle the whole way.
The whole way.
The whole way.
The freaking lights on the trailer, that's where it all started. I think we're good. And then we can always rappel down if something weird's over there.
True.
All right. Yeah, and then I went to that Home Depot. I called that Home Depot. I said, "Yeah, you guys do drop off?" Yeah.
Like, yeah, of course.
Okay. A week before. Okay, we need all this dropped off. Oh, we don't do drop off. What? Which way's quicker?
Probably. Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right, well, we're here. Where's all our stuff? Oh, you gotta pull it. What?
Yeah, that was a mess, to say the least.
Well, it's just frustrating when they say one thing, and then you plan for that, and then that is not something that's actually real.
Right.
Something as big as that, too.
Yeah, because that was supposed to be a pretty big thing, right?
Yeah. And then that morning, they're like, yeah, we're actually not going to build the things. People are still sleeping from drinking a ton, floating the river. So wait, you floated the river before this? You should. This is a little out of sequence.
And then it was funny too, because everyone just kind of like slowly started to trickle in an hour after we were supposed to start.
Yeah. And just wanted to play with water balloons the whole time.
Yep. And then I remember the beer trailer showed up again, and everyone's like, beer!
Yeah, dude. They were happy though. Like, the feedback I got was like, that was awesome, let's do it again. I'm like, okay, well, we'll maybe talk about that later. Because we didn't have a good time.
No, not really.
Not really.
Having to rush to build all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
They weren't going to put it together.
Yeah, talk about a military kind of challenge. That was actually, I secretly kind of enjoyed when you and I built those things really fast. I'm like, wow, this is impressive. We're cranking this out. It sucks. But man, we built that so fast. We built a whale watch in, what, an hour?
Yeah.
And 3 platforms?
Mm-hmm.
Who does that? That's not a thing that usually, yeah. A mobile whale watch that never built before.
Fresh parts and everything.
Yeah. Totally put it together.
Hey, maybe we should get into that business.
Yeah, building low courses is actually pretty chill. Low stakes.
One day low course.
Yeah.
Team.
Oh yeah. You want a low course? Half a day to map it out. Another half to prep. And then a day
hour to build.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's a good learning moment.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and the whole way too, I was very like, are you guys sure you want to do this? Like, my big thing was like, I really want this to be successful, and the way this is going, I don't know, I'm not seeing how, but they had a great time. And all the staff were amazing. Like, there wasn't any problems with the staff. Like, everybody was super helpful. Because it's like, okay, we're going through hell together, guys. Like,
it's usually when the best connections are made.
yeah, this is true.
I mean, that's pretty much how your first years of the military are.
Yeah, they put you through hell together, so you bond.
Mm-hmm. Teach you how to work as a team, break you down, build you back up again. It works. It's definitely not for everyone, but it works.
Yeah, I think there's some amazing value in that. Have you found like you have this ability to, after going through all that kind of stuff, like to quickly assess somebody and be like, yeah, this is gonna be really smooth working with this guy or gal, or this is gonna be really probably not gonna happen, or I'm gonna have to put in a lot of extra attention on said whatever?
It just kind of depends, to be honest. 'Cause a lot of times, you can tell when you're not going to get along with somebody who is based on their personality.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you can't be professional still.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about the military is everybody has the same job. So, you know you're going to work, do the job, at the very least, get the job done.
Yeah. There's a common goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps.
But, I mean, there are people who you're going to run into that just kind of suck.
And it's ego, right?
A lot of times, yeah. Like, there's even, it happens at all levels, but you hear about it the most when it comes to like leadership and toxic leadership.
Okay. When ego gets involved with leadership.
Because it's very much their way or the highway when, someone might have a better idea or whatever, but you do see it, you do hear about it, but it's not always a thing. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of factors that go into it. But for the most part, like, everyone's on the same page about the job, so you don't really see it too much. You really don't have a lot of issues.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Good luck.
Woo! Few sticks on the way there.
Hola!
Hola, ¿cómo estás? I hit like 3 sticks, little ones, and there was a big one at the end, so I stopped myself before it pulled it out. It's like, I don't want that in my trolley. Want to switch bag duty?
Yeah, I'll put it back.
Yeah, ego's interesting. Something I don't think we can get rid of, but we can at least navigate.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be dirtbags in all aspects of life, right? So as long as there's a level of professionalism, usually it ends up working.
Yeah. Sneaky Bornak.
Man, I don't even feel like I've left.
Here comes Mike, down to rappel.
Was it you who was with me when we grabbed that wasp nest that was underneath the platform?
I don't think so. Like you hit it and then you rappelled down? Maybe it was you and me. Yeah, no, it was. We sprayed it and then we just rappelled down. Wasn't that it?
No.
Or you smashed it with your hand.
Yeah, I grabbed it and ripped it off the platform.
And then, yeah. Yeah,
Then we left.
that was BA.
That was fun.
That'd be cool if you could bring your flight out for a team building. Be like,
people?
what's that?
100 people?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I guess we've done that before, huh?
Then they can learn about all the Robotron, Gumby.
My flight chief would be all about it. He loves, like, being personal with everybody and making sure he's a really good flight chief.
That's awesome.
But I don't know about everyone else. But that's a lot of people we got to get over here from Wyoming.
Yeah. All right, here we go. The pressing was like down there. Did you see that?
Was it?
Yeah, I like ran into it.
Oh, damn.
It moved, it was fine. It's just. How would you define professionalism?
How would I define professionalism?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Because I've heard you say that. Welcome to my team building. We say these words, but what do they mean?
I would say it's a level of doing what's right and acting a very polite and open manner.
Ooh, I like
in
that.
a certain environment where that is to be expected. I don't know. Basically, people doing what they're supposed to be doing politely.
Okay.
In like a very dumbed down version. Not being rude, not being demanding. You know. It's kind of everybody being on the same page about what needs to be done. Nobody causing any issues.
Yeah. I like it.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I've toyed around with that word because it's one of the values for facilitators in our mission.
Yeah.
It was like mitigating distractions from your best self with a group. So like physically, emotionally, and well, basically it's physically and emotionally. Like how you look, don't let that be a distraction from what you need to get across.
That makes sense.
And then how you're getting it, how your tone, what you're saying, are you present? That's all. Yeah. To not get in the way of.
Sounds like a very professional way to describe professionalism.
Yeah. It's funny because I've struggled with that word.
Professionalism?
Yeah, because like growing up in summer camp and stuff, and there was the silliness factor that was, I'll walk with you, that was a good thing, a beneficial thing, especially with the kids, right? Like, you don't want them coming into this militant thing. It's supposed to be fun.
There's a time and place for that.
Exactly, right? And I was definitely on the silly end, like, but I knew I did it with intention, And I think a lot of my friends and coworkers like didn't understand, and they're like, Jason, you gotta be more professional. I'm like, is this summer camp? But
Intuition. That's another good one.
yeah, but I mean, you know, engaging with the parents, obviously, you want to come across as mature and like,
Right.
I can trust you with my kids. So, but
I would say intent's a good word to tie into that.
yeah,
It just kind of matters where and when.
mm-hmm.
That's really it.
You just gonna hop in and go?
Yeah, I'm gonna check my phone real quick. See if I can connect to the Wi-Fi real fast.
Yeah, dude. All right, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, man. It's good
Yeah, dude.
seeing you.
Yeah.